Okay, let's take a glance at the photos from January 25th to January 31st. These are some of my favorites that I end up texting over to friends, family, clients, whatever. And just wanted to share some of the details here on my blog. So we'll start out with, I have a thing for birds that have to run to get up to speed. And this Bufflehead absolutely is one of those. These have always been really shy around me, so to get this shot close, it was pretty early in the morning, and I was having to run a smaller aperture. So the only thing that's really in focus is up here because the camera locked on its eye as it accelerated. So it's kind of got a little bit of mush in the detail, but if you really get into it, it does have focus where this is. I just enjoy the running and the footprints. Some gray whales playing in the kelp forest. More gray whale. All of these go on to happy whale. Oh, these were fun. I went out on a small boat with Offshore Blue out of Mission Bay, and we took out their rib, and you can see it's just a gorgeous day. And we found a small pod of Risso's dolphins that were just chilling out. And these guys are really deep divers, so if they don't want to be around, they can just disappear. These ones just hung around at the surface and kind of floated with the boat for a long time. Here, this one is spy hopping. You can see the mountains of Mexico behind us. Another look at spy hopping. It looks like they're up there forever. They actually just kind of come up and go back down fairly quick. So it's nice to be able to freeze that. Another look as a Risso surfaces. You see all the individual scarring, so they all look a little different. I liked this one with the shooting into the glare. A lot of details in the scarring. A lot of reflection here. Really like this one too. There was a couple of them that were kelping, playing with the kelp. This one, not the most defined. I would say it's probably one of the younger ones because it doesn't have a ton of scarring yet, but you can see as the Rissos scar, they lose the pigment and it doesn't come back. This photo usually isn't my cup of tea. This is usually more my wife's, like what she wants me to do more of from a designer standpoint. But I liked it, and I know a lot of designer-y people will like it. Kind of got the water balance, and then there's just where the houses all kind of start, and then headed towards sunset cliffs with the gray whale tail. Another big spout with Mexico in the background. This was a fun one. I shot this off the seawall, looking down, obviously, from Children's Pool. I like the detail in the foam. This is a fisherman buddy of mine that I know. Another look, looking down at the seal. I like the crisp texture of the seal. I'm into details. I like being able to see, that its nostrils closed, the details on its whiskers, the details in its eyes. But this one, I also really like the water shaping, how it's got this texture, how the texture changes colors based on being able to see the bottom versus seeing where the seal is. It gives the photo a lot more oomph to it. Kind of the same thing, a little bit more abstract maybe. This shot I keep working on. I'm going to get it perfect one of these days. I'm getting closer. This one was closer than I've been. All in all, pretty good. I like it. If it was just a little sharper, although the reality is mid-size print, this is probably 100% fine 100% of the time. But I'm looking at it on my giant TV right now, and it's just right there. More cormorants building stuff in the early morning glare. Kind of you see the silhouette. I like to be able to shoot fast enough to get sharp details. In this lighting, you're really working against getting any details of the animal, but you get so much story in that water. It's another one I really liked. I've been trying to get the seals. This time of year, the light sort of rolls over at a little different time frame, so you can get there a little bit earlier in the morning and the light's doing its thing. So you're able to get some contrast between shadow and light as it comes over. Same idea here. This one's interesting. You've got the contrast in the light and the shadow, but you've also got the contrast in this forward subject is just out, just cruising. And the one in the back is galumphing on its way to the water, so it's using a lot of motion and energy, kind of contrasting the just sitting there. More gray whales. More gray whale with the heart spout. I like this shot. This is a night sunset cruise with San Diego Whale Watch off a privateer, and just being able to see these colors out there is always kind of special. More shots of surfing sea lions. I like this one in terms of how much energy it takes for an animal that size to make that corner, roll off all that spray, and then boost out the back of this wave. There's a lot of motion going on in this photo. Similar thing here. I also really enjoy the water shapes, so this unique shaping underneath it. You know, some of the shape behind it. Just how water shapes itself, I find really intriguing and relaxing. Similar kind of concept. This was a feeding frenzy. I was on another small boat this day. I think I was out with Gone Whale Watching this day on one of their boats, and there wasn't very many common dolphins. There was a few, but they were just kind of cruising. But there was a large contingent of pelicans just absolutely straight diving into the water. More Pacific white-sided dolphins. More and more Pacific white-sided dolphins. And again, the water freezing, being able to kind of let your eye drift through this whole image. I really enjoyed that aspect of this type of photography. This was probably the favorite from that day. You got the water frozen, you got some shape, but you also have the two Pacific white-sided, formerly known as lags, surfacing. Something about having two does well for selling prints, so that one will probably do pretty good. Another look at a surfacing Pacific white-sided. This one's funny. It's got a heart on the back, so I got to debate whether or not, heart in the splash. I have to debate. I'll send it around for Valentine's, Thanksgiving. You can tell how much either of those mean. Same concept. Leaping sea lion at first light. Still trying to dial in those shots. This one I liked. I like the wings extended, so to speak. It's early, the light's low, so the ISO is probably a little higher than I would want to run it, I would guess, if I look at it. But fun shot, you know what's happening. This was right after it. I can't decide which one I like more. This one has more arc to it, which I think is more relaxing to me, even though it's maybe not quite as high. And then a turn landing. These ones kind of always get a kick out of just the details and the gradients and the shadowing in their feathers are great. So hope you enjoyed it. And if you're on my website, go ahead and scroll down and you can take a look at all of the shutter, ISO, all of those settings. If you're on a web hosting site, take a look at the description. I'll link to my blog, and we'll check you guys next week.